Good evening, traders and investors. Will back here with another one, coming to you with a Tuesday market recap. Hopefully you guys had a very decent day in the markets today. And in today's action, the S&P and the QQQs pull back again, this time for the fifth day in a row for the most part. The SPY down about 0.54 and the Qs down about 1.36. But today was a day all about rotation. And rotation is something that we've been talking about on the channel at least every single day for the past 2-3 weeks in a row. We had been noticing that a lot of the market's attention was concentrated into one very favorable narrative, and that of course was AI, the infrastructure plays for AI, the energy requirements that AI perhaps needed, and some of the fan favorite retail names that other YouTube channels and financial media alike had been kind of pumping for a better part of the last 3-4 months. And if you guys were not in those names, you kind of felt a little bit left behind. Well, today was exactly the opposite. Today you had a case where the rest of the market was doing well, but everybody's very favorite names unfortunately were down. Companies that had ran so much from the April lows, 50, 60, 80, 100, 150+% from those April lows, they're the ones that came down the hardest the most today. If I take you through a few charts real quick, you'll notice that a lot of the fan favorite names and names that have been performing the best over the course of the last 3-4 months were indeed the names today that were down the most and did have the most volatile sessions. But I want to bring your attention to one thing that I always tell you guys on the channel, which is to be patient and to let the market come to you. Don't ever have any FOMO, guys. Don't ever feel pressured to get into any plays, especially if you know deep down that they might be extended both on the fundamental aspect of the stock, but also on the technicals. I'll bring your attention to something that we cover not too often, but we do bring it up when we look at some of these overextended plays, and that is the monthly charts. More specifically, the monthly 12 EMAs. Now, the monthly 12 EMA is a very fun indicator because it lets us know if something gets too far away from it. Any single news event or any single correction could very rapidly bring us back or close to the 12 EMA. You can take a look at the SPY every single time that we have a major corrective event in the markets. At least it has been this way since pretty much the dawn of time on these indexes, right? Sometimes the moves up can last 3, 4, 5 months, but when the market corrects hard, it tends to always come back towards its infamous 12 EMA on the SPY and the QQQs alike. And which is why I always say on the channel, when things get a little bit too extended from their 12 EMAs, a pullback for XYZ reason is always possibly on the table, and to also have some buying power in the event that that does occur. So hopefully you guys didn't get too wrapped up in a lot of the names that I'm about to show to you, because these names for the most part in the last 2 months have been very far extended from the 12 EMAs, and sometimes people criticize me that I don't talk about these names enough on the channel. Names that everybody else talks about. Names like Rocket Lab, names like Robinhood, names like Palantir all the time, things of that nature, right? Because I don't want you guys to get wrapped up in the FOMO. I want you guys to be able to make an educated decision to not buy these names unless they come to you. And as a matter of fact, they usually always do. So we're going to go through a few charts right now during this introduction and show you what I mean. And you guys tell me if something seems off to you. Maybe if you're looking at these charts on the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily charts, maybe they look fine. But when you go out to the monthly timeframes, they should give you some pause. And hopefully after today's video, you do a little bit more deep dives into the stocks that you're looking for to make sure that you're not buying something that is extremely extended, possibly because you have some FOMO. Names like Rocket Lab, look at the monthly charts, right? Rocket Lab, how far are we from the 12 EMA right now? Extremely far, right? And when we go into a period of bearishness, we usually always do come down, if not to the 12 EMA, very close. And these names can come at you very quickly. Rocket Lab's a name that's been consolidating already for 5 weeks, and it might look like, yeah, it's already big weekly consolidation. We've already hit a few daily levels, but look at the 12 monthly EMA, right? The price has moved way, way, way too fast. It has not set decent support levels on the way up. And as a result, when we start to flush, we start to go through those levels extremely quickly. Look how far we are still extended from the 12 EMA on the monthly. And the last time that this happened, we came right back down into it. What about another stock like Robinhood? Well, Robinhood throughout its history has often come down to its 12 EMA, even in very strong rallies. Look how far extended we are from the 12 EMA. Another stock, talking about Palantir, everybody's favorite stock, right? Even Palantir, even when we have some very nice rallies, this one eventually always does come down or close to the 12 EMA when the markets go through a bit of a correction period. Look how far we are still from the 12 EMA. So when people ask me, why are you not buying Palantir up here? Why are you not covering it more? Why are you not spending 30 minutes on it every video? It's the best stock on the planet. Well, because, guys, I don't want anybody to get trapped and end up with levels that are truly undesirable just because they feel they need to own something because they've watched it for so long and so long and so long pushed up higher. You finally click the buy button and it always seems as if that's the time that the markets tend to turn around, right? Names like NVIDIA, where people tell me, no, it can't possibly go down. NVIDIA is also the second best stock in the world after Palantir, of course, right? Look how extended this one is from its 12 EMA. Even in the most strong rallies that NVIDIA has had, it's always managed to pull back close to that 12 EMA after a period of massive extension when the technicals are overbought and when the fundamentals are slightly overbought as well. A name like Microsoft, I won't spend that much time on the following ones, just going to show you the charts. Microsoft up every single day, almost every single day for 3 months, not setting any support on the way up whatsoever. You look at this on the daily and the weekly and you can say, yeah, but we might stop there. We might stop there. How extended are you from the 12 EMA? Microsoft usually does not get this extended from the 12 EMA. Whenever it does pull back, it can pull back close or to the 12 EMA. A name like Netflix as well. Netflix, we've been covering it. It is the poster child of what happens when you lose a 12 EMA on the daily time frame with a daily downtrend. You will end up into some weekly consolidation, right? But you will also end up weekly consolidation, but you also might just end up in some monthly consolidation. Even in Netflix's greatest rallies, we always manage to somehow pull back into the 12 EMA, especially when you're looking at 40, 50+% moves in a single quarter. Shall I continue? Names like SOFI, right? Where's the 12 EMA? All the way down there. Even though some people, including myself, are very bullish on the stock, in the long term, it does not prevent the market from having some short-term corrective action. Yes, they are buying opportunities, but you got to watch out, guys. Positioning at the top of these names is very dangerous. GE Vernova, another fan favorite over the past couple of months, has rallied tremendously off the April lows. A name like Symbotic, where at the April lows was $20, it ran 3x in a single quarter. Where's the 12 EMA? I don't know. You guys tell me at this point, right? Broadcom, another one. Where is it? Has it touched the 12 EMA in past times during some corrective environments in the markets? I don't know. You go back. Broadcom is a stock that has almost 20 years of price, or rather 15 years of price action history. You guys tell me, when it pulls away too far from the 12 EMA, does it sometimes come back and touch it? Right? Oracle, another same concept type of name, right? Oracle, way extended from the bottom, 135 to the top. That's almost a 2x in a single quarter. Seems familiar, right? MP Materials, everybody's favorite critical mineral play. Where is it? It is very, very extended. I don't care what the Department of Defense contract is. Eventually, at these levels, you tend to run out of buyers. Moving on to another one. Oklo, very far away from the 12 EMA. It doesn't matter how hot the stock is, how hype everybody is to buy it. Eventually, you will run out of buyers as well. Moving on to another one, SMR, another company that, for the most part, doesn't generate any revenues at all. SMR has already started its consolidation, and it started it about 3 weeks ago, and it's been going on ever since. So it's blasted through some daily support levels, it's blasted through a weekly support level, and now you might ask, where's it heading? I don't know, maybe the 12 EMA, as it has every single time it's pulled back before. Moving on to Reddit, another stock that was a great winner after its earnings. The last time that this happened on Reddit, where did it come down? Even though Reddit doesn't have too much price action history, I don't know. Maybe somewhere close to the monthly 12 EMA. Just a thought. Moving on to A-Lab right now. Another stock that from the bottom, 3x from the bottom, massive momentum, massive bullishness, massive coverage everywhere on social media, as if it's the next Palantir, of course. Well, perhaps it might have to consolidate a little bit, maybe into a support level. And maybe by that time, Mr. 12 EMA catches up. I don't know, just a thought. Moving on to Coinbase as well. Coinbase, everybody's favorite stock when it's pushing 440. Everybody has to pile in. Everybody absolutely just has to pile in. And then when it unwinds, it starts breaking daily support levels. It starts breaking weekly levels of interest as well. And the only time frame left that you should zoom out to if you really want to get a sense of what it's doing is maybe it's doing something that it's done several times in the past, which is when it goes on big rallies in a bull market, maybe, just maybe, the next logical location of some pullbacks are the monthly EMAs. And the last one, HIMS. HIMS has been doing this for a while right now, and I was warning people here, the first time HIMS did this, it came down to the 12. I mean, not only this time, but every single time in prior history when HIMS does pull back, it tends to go right back down to this little guy right there, the infamous 12 EMA. So take all of that, guys, take it all, absorb it all, and this is this type of stuff that you guys need to be wondering whenever you are watching other videos or browsing Twitter or browsing Reddit, and every single person on the planet is piling into him saying it has such a great future. Yes, indeed it does. But that does not mean it's going to go up in a straight line every single day for the next 2-3 years. And it does not mean that these stocks cannot have 15, 20, 25, 30% pullbacks from the highs, even though the indexes are only briefly consolidating. It definitely means that it can happen, and it probably will happen, especially if you have historical precedent of it happening in times prior. So in today's video, guys, that was a very long introduction, but I started off with the juicy stuff because that's what everybody wants to know today, right? I pretty much went through every single stock that you guys could possibly be curious about, and we're going to cover a bit deeper. We're going to kind of cover a bit deeper technicals on the entire landscape a bit later. But in today's video, we're going to do a few key things. No earnings, no news today at all, guys. Today, we're going to focus solely on the charts. Well, no news because there was really no news. The biggest news that we have this week is going to be the Jackson Hole Symposium and the the S&P Manufacturing PMI, which comes in on Thursday, and then comments from Powell on the Thursday and Friday sessions, of course. Now, in today's video, only technicals. First off, we're going to do a full technical recap here of what happened in the markets. Where is the rotation? Obviously, the rotation is out of the more favored names. Where is it going into? Of course, everything else, but we'll take a look at those sectors and how much can they possibly benefit. So we'll do a quick and full technical analysis rundown of all our major market indexes. Thereafter, we will do the same thing across the big tech list here because big tech took a pretty big bath today. Some names more than other, but we'll take a look at our big tech name list right here and derive whether or not there are some key levels that we should be paying attention to over the next few days, over the next few weeks, in the event that this is the infamous seasonality rotation, whereby we can see some drops in the market in August, September, and then early October as well. We'll take a look at that. And then at the very end of the video, yes, I will take you guys through the biggest gainers and losers of the day, but I'm pretty sure you guys are only interested in the biggest losers because they're all the more hyped up stocks, right? The other ones that were on the highs today, there's a bunch of boring companies: Wynn Resorts, Rocket Mortgage, Home Depot after their earnings, Palo Alto after their earnings, FICO, FedEx, who cares about those, right? MSCI, Lowe's, Lennar, the home builders, the rotation trade that we've been talking about for a while now, which has presented us with some very nice gains, but it's true. Who cares other than me and Warren Buffett, apparently? Brown Corporation, some of the insurance plays, very boring insurance plays that have been down for several weeks, several months, dare I say, in a row, starting to come alive today with this rotation. So pay attention to your sectors. Names like Berkshire, we're up 1.42% today. Another real estate name, CBRE. There's some growth names obviously on the highs today, but Verizon, T-Mobile, TJX, Texas Roadhouse, Tyson Foods. About a whole bunch of really boring names that nobody really talks about ever. But when the hottest names and the biggest names in the market pull back, you really need all of those names to play some defense here. If not, the SPY would be down 2% overall today. So that being said, we're going to go through the biggest gainers and losers of the day at the end of the video, but we'll spend a lot of time on those losers. So without further ado, after this very long introduction, let's get into it, shall we? The SPY down about 0.4, 0.54. The Q's down about 1.36. And you can see the heat map. We've talked about it before. Only the best performing names of prior to today were the ones that were down today. So keep that in mind. Software, which hasn't been showing that much appreciation over the last roughly 2, 3, 4 weeks at this point in time, they actually did well. So you remember, all of tech was rallying, infrastructure was rallying, and software is sadly getting left behind. Well, not today. Software actually showed up and played a little bit of ball today. It was tough for them to do it, but they still got it done. NVIDIA, Broadcom, and some of the hottest semiconductor names were down, but they were the ones that were down the most. Look at this list right here. You'll notice that the other semiconductor names weren't really down that much. Curious. We'd been talking about this one as well, to where the hottest names of that sector were performing the best over the course of the past couple months. If I put this on the 1 month relative performance, now in just one day, they've unwound. Everything else is kind of trying to play a little bit of catch up in that location right there. In terms of the rest, financials not doing too bad, healthcare not doing too bad, and the bottom half of the market really showing up in a big way when the market needed it the most today. Take a look at your 1 day relative performance, guys. You'll see this even better. Technology and communication services Down the most, technology is largely, or communication services is largely Google, Meta, and Netflix at this point in time. They were down the most. Energy, cyclicals, materials down a little bit, and even financials slightly in the red. What outperformed? Real estate, defensives, utilities, and healthcare, arguably some of the most boring segments of the market. On the 1 week relative, where do you stand? Well, prior to today, a lot of this was green, but now flipping in a major fashion. Technology, your loss leader for the week. So technology pivoting from lead bull to lead bear. That's what I always tell you guys to focus on. Identify your lead bulls in this market. When you lose your lead bull, it's very possible that also you can lose the indexes, especially when your lead bull is the biggest weight in the entire index. It'd be something different if healthcare was your lead bull and everything else was lagging and then you lost healthcare. Well, then you can find some rotation back into tech and semiconductors and then everything is fine. But when you lose the hottest segment of the market, which is also simultaneously your lead bull and also simultaneously your largest weights in the index, well, of course, it's going to hurt. So in terms of the technical analysis, guys, let's dive right into some charts, right? Into the S&P and the QQQs and make sense of everything that's happening today. So in terms of the SPY, well, we haven't really lost much ground at all. The bulls are still in control indeed. The higher lows are still planted here at 620, but we are coming down a little bit rapidly. We're touching the 12 EMA. We will see. Can the bears continue this motion to the downside over the course of the next week or so? And if we do, what is going to happen? Well, if you get too much of an engulfing move right here, if you want to take a look at the fibs, if you get an over 50% retracement back down to 632, it opens up the door for the infamous trend reversal trade from the bears, possibly moving into the end of the month and early September, which are your seasonally weak periods of the fall season, right? So that being said, if we do unwind with a daily downtrend, everybody should be expecting possibly the weekly consolidation phase in the markets. Your first level touch is going to be 620 and your second level touch is going to be all the way down here, prior all-time high resistance range, all the way down to roughly, let's call it 612 to about 600 on the S&P. That would not look so awkward because even though we would be losing temporarily a weekly uptrend by flushing this low right here, what are we going for on the higher time frames right here? It's been 4 months of very bullish price action, but we know that sometimes the markets do require some monthly consolidation before embarking on a next leg of rally, which could possibly be into Q4. Now, of course, I don't want to speculate too much. I'm not saying that this is indeed exactly what is going to happen, but you have to prepare for it in the markets. You have to be ready for everything. And how have we been preparing on the channel? Well, a lot of you guys know because my viewers have been doing this as well. Hopefully that you people that are new to the channel have been trying to attempt this as well. Winding down a lot of the highly profitable short-term call options that we've been building April, May, and early June into end of July and early August, expecting some of this seasonal rotation. So winding down a lot of the short-term plays that were up a lot. It's fine to keep some leap contracts open, and it's also fine to play the wheel strategy, meaning waiting for your favorite companies to come back into support levels and selling puts against their strike prices, right? Those are fine, but any short-term short duration call options and things of that nature, short-term swing trades, they kind of need to be wound down, guys, right? We've ran a ton, and possibly right now is a period of time in the markets where we will be consolidating. Now, once again, I'm not trying to predict the markets. All we're doing is we are reacting and we are preparing. So now's the time to be building your shopping list. If you feel that you've been left out of a bunch of stocks that I presented in the introduction of today's video, well, be patient. Derive some levels where you want to buy them. Do not feel pressured by anybody else telling you where they're going to buy them. No. If you want to be more patient and you want to wait for your prices to be hit so that you can start some longer duration positions on those companies, right? Then wait for your prices. NVIDIA has earnings next week. If you only want to buy NVIDIA when it comes down to 150 and it starts moving down there, well, you can indeed, if it does start moving down a little bit further, you can sell some put options down there in the event that earnings are unfavorable or the overall August and September seasonality takes us down into there. Be patient. Always be patient and let the market come to you, and you would be surprised. A lot of the times it does actually come back into very large areas and or monthly locations that have been historically tagged by this same security. So just use historical precedents on some of your charts and be very patient for the markets, right? Moving on to the QQQs right now. QQQs down about 1.36. Big move to the downside and a loss of the 12 EMA. Now, this is only the second time that we've lost the 12 in a big fashion. You can see it's poked its head below there a few times, but recovered instantly. We will see if tomorrow they can instantly recover this again. If they don't, it has to be notable to you because this is something we have not done many times over the course of the last 3 months. We also have some seasonality to deal with, so keep that in mind. In terms of the fibs right now, this is a decent size downswing right now, right? In the 50 EMA, into the 50 fib, excuse me, would be 567. You break down below that, guys, and the bulls lose a ton of momentum, meaning you open up the door for the bears to either do the one-time flush or the two-time daily downtrend unwind of the current highs right now, which would be bringing you into further weekly consolidation. The 12 EMA on the weekly is down here, but overall, pay attention to this monthly chart. We've ran an absolute ton. And if we do have a seasonal period of weakness right now, talking about the end of August into possibly September with the Fed rate cut meeting as well, well, 1 to 2 months of downside, right? Unwind August a little bit, then September and maybe early October. Where would that put you? We did the exact same thing when the tariff situation started, guys. I was saying if the tariff drama lasts like a month and a half, something like that, you could very easily extrapolate that we could come down and tag the 12 EMA. Now, tariffs were wild and they came down well further than that. We don't have that much amount of volatility in the markets right now, but it could just be something that you have to pay attention to. Talking about a pullback 537 down to 511. Now, I know people don't want to hear that, but what we're doing right now, guys, is we are preparing. That way you guys know what to possibly expect and you are not faced with any surprises. If that doesn't happen, then that's just a bonus. If you just continue on and the bulls are able to recapture all this as if nothing bad has happened at all, then perfect. But I figure that I should prepare you for the worst case scenario. That way anything other than that is a lot better, of course. And the way that we can be playing this, once again, as I said, is playing short puts under the market if we're trading, not going so much for any short duration call options, trying to catch the local short-term bottoms of Palantir, even though they're not showing you that it's a local bottom just yet. You're just trying to catch a falling knife, right? No, maybe what you can do is play, if you want to play some of the short duration trades, play some of the favorable rotations that we've been talking about in the last 2-3 weeks that you are seeing appear on the charts right now. On to financials. Financials kind of holding their own today. Daily uptrend is still prevalent for the bulls, but in the event you unwind this one too, where are we going? Well, we're not too far away from the support area. 52 down to about 50.27 is going to be the historical area of resistance. Even on the monthly charts, guys, you can see it, right? If financials pulls back, where can we possibly head into? Maybe the 12 EMA. It's right below our support area at about $50 flat. The bulls have been holding this one for a better part of the last entire 6, 8, 9 months at this point in time. Something like this would not look so awkward, so just be prepared for it. And as I've said many times on the channel, the names that I've been looking for the most have been Visa, something that happens all the time, right? Just look at Visa. Historically speaking, when it pulls back into its 12 EMA, has it been a good buying opportunity? And that's a common theme for all the names that I've covered so far in the video. I'm not saying that it's not a good buying opportunity. I'm saying the exact opposite. When a lot of these names come back into their 12 EMAs, they are very, very attractive buying opportunities. Even if we were to get close to it, it historically has been proven to be a very attractive buying opportunity. So just get ready for some of those possible extended pullbacks in the event that they do continue. Moving on to XLV. So I'm kind of breaking the structure of the video, right? I'm covering financials, then I'm moving into NVIDIA, but I'm just trying to illustrate some concepts with some common names that you guys might be more familiar with. Now, XLV Healthcare, same concept, right? So healthcare is not doing too bad. It's still struggling to break above the infamous 137 line of resistance, but healthcare is holding up quite well. We'll see if we get some follow through. If there is more consolidation in growth, I would expect more money to rotate to healthcare, because that's kind of what's been happening over the course of the past few days. Now, that being said, healthcare is still consolidating in this monthly, very tight range right here. We have a lot of monthly support back there. And similarly, right, we can go back to historical precedent, because I love looking at historical moving average. This time, it's the 50 monthly EMA. We blasted through the 12, we blasted through the 26, but now is where we stand on healthcare. Whenever it comes down to the 50 EMA, has it been a historically good buying opportunity for some of these stocks? Yes. So as a result, am I trying to predict the short-term price action of what's going to happen in this super tight range? Am I trying to predict, yes, we're going to break out tomorrow? No. But if I can derive something from this trade, is that accumulation in this range, whether it takes 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, or 2 months, or 3 months, or 4 months like we've been in right now, accumulation in this range usually does pay out. So keep that in mind. We are looking for the monthly upswing eventually in healthcare. Moving on to SMH right now. So SMH coming down a little bit right now, and we did crack through this 12 EMA, something that we haven't done too many times for the better part of the last, 3-4 months in this ETF right here. That being said, who's in control? The daily bulls are still slightly in control, but it's a big retracement in relation to the most recent move. You can see that we did crack through that line that was just right there, crack through it as if it wasn't even there, moved through it like butter. And now the retracement size on this move is about 618, right? So you know that when something retraces 62% of a move, it opens up the door for one of two things. Either you get the flush one time, or you get the daily downtrend formation. If that does happen, we are heading into weekly consolidation and possibly even monthly consolidation too. Are we far away from the 12 EMA on semiconductors? Well, the short answer is yes, and this has happened several times where we run far away from this one, and sometimes it can pull back, sometimes close, sometimes it can pull back right into it, but sometimes it often does happen, right? So that being said, if we do come down here into the mid 260s over the course of the next 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks, I would not be surprised, but it would be a heck of a buying opportunity for semiconductors. So I'm not trying to predict that that is going to be the outcome. I'm just saying if these names retrace, and I've been patiently waiting for it, that is where I am going to strike. Because keep in mind, guys, if things really do pull back this much, what do you think people are going to be saying at that point, right? If NVIDIA has a 15, 20% pullback from the highs, if Palantir continues this pullback and pulls back another 20% from the highs, I'm not saying it's going to happen for sure. I'm just saying if it happens, what do you think people are going to be saying? They're going to be saying it's over, it's finished, thanks for the bull run, we're going into a recession, all of that good stuff, right? But what are you guys going to be doing? My viewers for sure are going to be looking for opportunity when everybody is panicking, when things are pulling back to very normal locations that they have in the event of market pullbacks and sell-offs and corrections alike. We're going to be shopping for some of our favorite companies with good fundamentals at historical areas where it's proven to be advantageous to us to go shopping for those things. And this time is no different. The biggest monthly level is down here, 260 to 250. On to the Russell right now. The Russell down about 0.77. I mean, just kind of weak price action by the Russell, but that's to be expected. Not much in terms of growth did well today. 232 down to 225 is still the resistance range. On the weekly, if you get a pullback, you're looking for a weekly higher low, anything above 213. Weekly higher low, but in all reality, guys, we're just stuck. We're stuck between resistance. We're stuck between support. And as you can see right here, the monthly time frame sadly has not been able to break above over the course of the month of August. If the markets do continue to be a bit weak on the growth side, I would expect things to pull back nominally, possibly coming back into the support range, 216 down to about 205. Now, in terms of the rotation, well, XLP got a very nice bounce. We were commenting on this one. Down below here, I was saying, yeah, this is probably a decent opportunity to start playing some of the defensive names, right? And a lot of the defensive names have performed well since those local bottoms. Costco, I was playing this one with my Discord members, if my chart will load. We were playing this one down here when Costco was coming down into daily oversold conditions after a, 3-month slide, pretty much essentially in a row. We were playing that one all the way down there. Some of the other names popped off their highs. You remember Walmart? We were playing some Walmart into this location of price support, and we've got some really nice rallies here in the past few weeks. I mean, they're not the sexiest rallies, not like Palantir or Rocket Lab or the other names can rally, but they were very clean and very clear rotations, weren't they? So that being said, we're looking for the break possibly above 83.25 on the XLP. On to utilities. Utilities has been a very hot sector because of the electricity and energy trade found within utilities, of course. But utilities is not doing too bad today. Matter of fact, they were higher. So that being said, in the event we do pull back a bit more, the clearest time frame for me is the weekly. You'd be looking for a weekly higher low, anything above 80. Weekly higher low, possibly down to the 12 weekly EMA. And on the monthly time frame, guys, I mean, even on utilities, we are slightly extended. But you can see what happened, right? When we get too far extended, this was too far extended. This is a little bit extended, right? When we get too far extended, what does utilities do every single time? Well, it can pull back to the 12 EMA. So in the event, because utilities right now, it's a whole bunch of electric companies that have been performing the best in this one. You guys know which ones I'm talking about. The ones that are AI centered and AI focused. If they do pull back, where do you guys think utilities is going? Well, possibly right back down here, which could present us a good buying opportunity either on the sector or maybe on your favorite names that everybody knows, everybody loves, but everybody gets a bit too much FOMO, in my opinion, for names such as VST, right? Maybe if they pull back all the way back down there again, because they're very far extended, well, maybe they just do the same thing that they've done a few times throughout this cycle, and maybe that could be your next buying opportunity. Moving on to real estate right now, real estate up 1.78%. bull flag right here. Not too bad, right? Very nice support right now on this level 41.40 down to about 39.27. It's a tightening range, right? Tightening range, bull flag, whatever you want to call it. It's the breakout. It's the slow retest of the bull flag and possibly the rally. So if yields continue moving in the right direction, and if money continues to rotate and pivot to find value and to find the next possible attractive theme, maybe real estate could garner a little bit of that capital and present a little bit of a rally opportunity. A lot of these sectors within real estate have been doing really well. The home builders construction ETF, the home builders ETF itself, and many other names such as Rocket Mortgage has been doing very well, and things of that nature. So I do expect real estate to continue to have some bullish momentum, especially as we are moving into the whole rate cutting environment overall. That's everything for your sector rotation recap. Hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Today on the VIX, the VIX was actually doing something as opposed to doing a whole lot of nothing. But, right, you are probably surprised that the VIX is only up 4%. Well, need I remind you, the whole rest of the market, 350 plus names were actually green today. It was really just concentrated selling. If we do find more of a sell-off tomorrow, because I'm not saying every day is going to look like this. Some days you may lose the entire market because that's what's going to be needed if you truly want to bring monthly consolidation into the S&P, monthly consolidation in the QQQs, right? However, it may just be an environment where you see more of this style of day than the opposite, right? Where the whole rest of the market is down, but only these names are green. Maybe now it's going to flip a little bit until we can find some more normalized prices. So the VIX is higher today, but tough to derive whether that's going to continue into tomorrow. But you guys know the environment right now. The environment right now at a low VIX is one where we should be looking for longer duration plays. If we're shopping for leap call options, you will want to go for names that have been left behind. Matter of fact, the only names that myself and members of the Discord have been opening are calls on names such as Visa, names that have been left behind, calls like Berkshire, names that have been left behind, and not so much doing leap call options on names like NVIDIA, names like Palantir, way up here, right? So that is how you utilize the VIX, right? In terms of trying to buy options when volatility on certain names is relatively low. In the event that we increase rapidly on the VIX, well, I will increase the pace at which I'm selling puts in the market, but being very careful and very calculated as to which levels I truly want to write those puts at. Now, moving into the yields right now, you can see that yields are actually down on the day. Today was such a powerful day of a sell-off in the markets. You would expect that maybe yields were higher or something like that. Matter of fact, no, but yields are still kind of gridlocked right here. The 10-year is gridlocked between, let's say, 4.2 and 4.5. If you really want the downtrend, you need to crack 4.3, but that's not going to happen until, more than likely, we get to the September rate cut meeting and get those summaries of economic projections. And the 20-year yield is also still gridlocked right here between 5 and roughly 4.7%. If you really want to see the breakdown, you got to give me the breakdown below 4.7. Until that time, the bonds are also going to stay a bit gridlocked down here. Good accumulation zone, but still a very slow trade. This trade, as I've been saying for the last, 3-4 months, this trade is going to require a very large amount of patience, so keep that in mind. Moving on to gold right now, you would expect on a day like today, where everything is down and the whole markets are crashing, even though they're not. It's only a few key names here. You would expect maybe gold to get a little bit of a fear bid. As a matter of fact, no. Gold ended the day down about 0.52%, and it continues its retracement down into here. The next support line is 3,300 down to 3,264, but pay attention. It's doing something this week. I'm going to be very curious how gold closes this week overall. We're losing the 12 EMA on the weekly. This has not happened, guys, since the month of December was the last time. December and November is the last time, and gold usually grinds the heck out of this 12 EMA. If you lose this and you crack below 32.77, that is a weekly downtrend and the loss of the weekly 12 EMA. That could possibly be monthly consolidation. And gold, although it's not Palantir, although it's not NVIDIA, it displays several of the same symptoms of those names. Every day we bring up gold, I always tell you guys to focus on the monthly chart, because if certain things line up and we set the downtrends and we lose the short-term EMAs, where's the monthly heading? Well, notice gold, okay? Sometimes it can pull back close, sometimes it pulls back right into it. But over time, whenever we have very nice rallies on gold, eventually it always comes back and it tags this infamous 12 EMA. I know I'm being annoying, guys, but if you internalize this stuff, you won't get trapped and you won't get surprised, right? Because people who only focus on the daily time frames with a super zoomed in chart, they'll see some candle action like this and they'll be like, oh no, gold is falling through the floor. Well, actually, maybe it's just going for a monthly higher low in around the 12 EMA, something that it always comes back into over time, around 3,000 and 3,100, and just maybe that might be the next location that you would find yourself being a buyer. So keep all that stuff in mind, guys, right? Moving on to Bitcoin right now. I'll just stay on the monthly chart. See it even better on Bitcoin. Even Bitcoin, in the craziest rallies of all time so far on Bitcoin, even Bitcoin, sometimes when the market is crashing, like during COVID or 2018 tariff sell-off or 2022 bear market, sometimes, yes, it pulls back to the 12 and goes a lot below it. But in the context of an overall bull market that we're in right now, even Bitcoin can rally hard and pull back into the 12 monthly EMA. This 12 EMA, man, is the real sauce. I really think you guys should pay more attention to it. So although I focus on a lot of daily trend price action, because a lot of people who watch my videos like knowing the short-term price action levels for some possible analysis, right? Well, right now we have a daily downtrend. We obviously lost the more recent level right here on the weekly time frame. We know that it's just been consolidation. Break through these guys, though, 112, that is a weekly downtrend in motion. And if you know the weekly downtrend is coming and you know the likely area of support is down here, 108 down to about 100, and you know that the 12 EMA is curling up into that location, well, maybe, just maybe, that this might be the area where they stop the bears while the 12 EMA kind of curls up to that location. So maybe if you're looking for some longer duration swing trades on Bitcoin, we stop trying to figure out whether this is the bottom or tomorrow's the bottom, or maybe this upswing, the downselling pressure is off. And maybe we just patiently wait. If we really want to commit to some larger positions, some with more size, some that are not day trades, and if Bitcoin presents us another opportunity like it did back there, this is the last time that I, quote unquote, full sent Bitcoin. And we did really, really well. So I'll be waiting for it. I mean, I have been playing some short puts under the market, but you guys know where I've been playing short puts. I've been playing short puts down here for all the reasons that I just said previously. If Bitcoin does come down there, believe me when I say I will load up some larger swing trade positions, but with longer duration time horizons for completion of those profits, because it will be a monthly time frame trade and not just a daily or an hourly time frame trade. Ethereum, same concept. Daily downtrend on Ethereum right now. People must be thinking absolutely that the Ethereum rally is completely over. When in doubt, zoom out. It is a weekly uptrend still, with your higher lows being set down there at 3360. It is prior resistance, which could be new support. So take a look at how it reacts down here. If it comes into 4,000 down to about 3,700. But more importantly, how far is it from the 12 EMA? Now, the 12 EMA is all the way down there. I'm not saying it's going to go all the way down there, but it just shows you it's very extended. When something gets very extended like this, it can pull back. It can pull back hard. It can pull back fast as well, right? It can come down here, sit down here for a little bit, right? Under 4K, under 3,700. And the 12 EMA during that time is going to catch up. Now, it may take a while. It's very tough to derive exactly where they're going to stop the price action. So what you have to do is watch what it does when it comes down into this level. Does it break it as if it's not even there? Well, then there's too much momentum. If it just smashes through it on the weekly here as if it's not even there and engulfs this complete with this weekly move right there, well, then you know the expectation is somewhat maybe a lower high into lower low, and maybe just wait for the monthly moving average to catch up before we can maybe find a bit more buyers. But we will see. I'm not saying that's what's going to happen. I'm just saying what you need to do if you're looking to have any price action analysis whatsoever is you really need to take it one time frame at a time. Daily downtrend until this reverses. The short-term bears are in control. It is a weekly time frame pullback overall, and watch the fibs, right? If you get more than a 50% pullback, well, then the likelihood of just doing this is somewhat uncertain, right? It becomes less and less probable. If you pull back too much, you open up the door for either sideways corrections right here, sideways price action, or the infamous downtrend shift, at which point you're going to be looking for that monthly consolidation in the market. So Ethereum has been a very hot trade. It's been one that, for the most part, I assume most people got into very late. I only started seeing Ethereum comments and questions on my channel here. Not here, not here, not even much here, but only here. That is when everybody started getting interested in the last 10% of the move. So maybe during this consolidation is a time period where you slowly accumulate some positions if you are going for the notorious expansion of this one, which will take several monthly cycles, right? We're not going to 10K tomorrow, guys. Definitely not, right? But if you position properly with some patience and then just hold, you might actually get the profit targets that you're looking for. That is everything for your overall market rundown. Let's dive into some big tech names, and then we're going to spend some time on the biggest losers of the day. And guys, by the way, in terms of the 12 EMA stuff, right? I'm not saying that I will not buy until it touches the 12 EMA. All I'm saying is that I won't buy when we're so extended. I need a sharp and rapid pullback. Hit some daily oversold conditions after we've been overbought for so long. Send it the other way real quick. I'll start playing first daily oversold conditions on a lot of these names. Rocket Lab, Robinhood, SOFI, NVIDIA, PLTR, all these names. I'll start playing it when they hit the other way, when people start saying it's over. Not necessarily when it comes down into the 12 EMAs. I'm just not playing them up here. And I don't want you guys to get into the bad habit of doing that as well, playing stuff up here, because if you're used to extremes, if you're used to buying extremes at the highs right here, you will sell the extreme bottoms as well, thinking that everything is over, and then you will just repeat the cycle of buying high and selling low. Don't do that. Be patient. Always let the market come to you, okay? Moving into Apple right now. So Apple down about 0.14% today. Curious how Apple was not the recipient of a multiple percentage day. Now, it may come in the future, but I'll remind you, Apple's been left behind this week, left behind a lot. Year-to-date performance on Apple is still negative. So Apple is still indeed one of the catch-up trades to be had. But that being said, in terms of the daily price action here, looking for a new daily higher low, anything above 202 looking for a higher low for possible further trend continuation. But if even Apple cannot keep it up and we start moving our way back into this support location, lose the daily uptrend, well, the weekly bulls have a lot of space right here. Anything above 201.72, we're looking for a weekly higher low. My area that I want to go shopping on Apple, these guys and the EMAs on the weekly timeframes into the low 220s for a possible reload for some longs. Contrary to a lot of names out there, Apple is not too far away from its 12 EMA, but when it does get far away, it tends to pull back as well. I mean, don't just take my word for it. Just go back in history. Apple has a lot of history, right? When it gets too extended, can we pull back close to around there? Every time we pull back close to a 12, guys, it'll be short-term daily oversold conditions, and that's when we can start playing. So you don't have to exactly wait for the monthly 12 EMAs, but it's an area that I like to base my trades around the overall location, right? Within some percentage points of that fallback location. And the key level right here is still 220 to 215 on this monthly time frame. On to AMD right now. AMD, same concept. We've now flushed the lows. So daily downtrend, daily uptrend, excuse me, has now been lost. It opens up the door for the two-step process of the daily downtrend on any bounce or just the absolute pure flush. Now, I've tightened up my support and resistance locations on AMD a little bit, so they may be, well, they're not different from yesterday's video. I just gave more of them essentially. So I broke, you might remember there was just one big box around here. I've broken it down into two, right? So these key areas right there, then the lower base of support all the way down there. So right now we're making our way through the whole 171 to about 157 location. Beyond that is 146 down to 132. Right now, essentially what we're doing is rejection from resistance, but look how much this one's ran. It's very normal, 141%. I am the first person that will tell you that I will be buying this AMD dip. I still believe in the long-term 2-3 year thesis of the company, but it does not mean it has to go up every single day for the next 2-3 years. There will be some fantastic opportunities, and I will be selling some puts on AMD as we make our way into the lower, sub 160 into the 150 range. This is probably going to be the target area that I will be wanting to do. And in terms of the monthly time frame, well, why? Well, as you can see right here, guys, just go back in AMD's history. AMD's had many, many, many historic rallies, but one common theme, I don't have to say it anymore. Just look at the monthlies. If we're too extended on the monthlies and we do not set much in terms of short-term price action of support on the way up, when you come down, it can kind of be like stairs up, elevator down type of action, right? But if you come down there, guys, this is like the no-brainer buy location for AMD. So will I be nibbling on AMD a little bit on the way down? Possibly yes, but the no-brainer location to buy is probably back down there around the 150 range and around the monthly 12. This would not look so awkward, right? If we do this for like a month and a bit and then pop up into Q4, that would probably not look so awkward. As a matter of fact, if we were here in January and somebody would look at this chart, right, retroactively, and would see this pullback, they would probably say, oh, well, that was very logical, came right back down, they set the monthly higher lows, and then it rallied. So now we're in that process. Moving on to Amazon right now. So Amazon down a little bit today, reacting nicely from support, 227 down to about 218. Daily bulls right now in control, looking for a higher low. Anything above 219, higher low, possibly, if the bulls are able to get it back, we can move a bit higher. In the event we unwind, well, hopefully the bulls are going to be able to hold up this support area. But if they do not, and we unwind for the daily downtrend and we unwind this weekly price action and go into more consolidation, well, the area that I'll be looking to buy Amazon, quite frankly, is going to be 215 down to about 210. Just looking for a bit of a monthly higher low on Amazon for possible further trend continuation. Would not look so awkward. Amazon, one of my favorite companies still, but very tough to derive in this market environment. What team is Amazon going to be playing on? Because as you can see, Amazon and Google weren't down too much today because year to date, they're not really up so much. So will Amazon, Google, and Apple, these three companies that are not up so much, will they be able to kind of hold up the fort a little bit better? Perhaps. But the one thing that I am certain of is that my next buys on Amazon will have to come down below here in the teens, right? If we lose this area into weekly consolidation, into a bit of monthly consolidation, I want to be playing this pullback. And I think where we probably stop on Amazon in the near-term future would be around 210. Lower 200s is probably where we stop. So I'll be playing this one every stage of the way down with short puts. I'll just be selling puts with some good volatility under the market every week and trying to get me as close as possible to the infamous 215 level down there. Moving on to Google right now, same concept we were just talking about on Amazon, right? Rejection from resistance though this time, 207 down to 202. And then we unwind, the higher low is here, 199. Unwind this. You unwind the daily uptrend and you open up the door for the infamous daily downtrend and infamous weekly consolidation. It's been a very nice rally for Google so far, but now we might just be looking to have a bit of weekly consolidation. Where could it bring us into? 195 down to about 186. The weekly 12 MA is there as well. And you have previous areas of price action to kind of base that support level off of. Google, though, is now also one that is slightly extended from the 12 EMA. So in the event you pull back, it's been 5 months of choppy upside, but very sustained upside, meaning choppy. Like there's been some periods, guys, where Google investors have questioned the meaning of life, right? But that being said, if we do pull back, I will be a big fan of buying Google, especially if we can come back down into the lower 190, 180 location, trying to time this one here with a pullback into the 12 EMA that's going to be curling up right there. It happens all the time. Happens all the time on Google. This was one period of time where it really blasted away. It never really looked back, but 2021 was a very strange market, right? This time we do have another very nice bull run. If we come back down here, trust me when I say I'll be adding more Google long-term shares to my portfolio, but on the way down, I'll be playing it 1 week at a time as well, trying to go with some short puts. You get some nice rapid declines right here. We sell puts below the support region, which is meaning that I'm not waiting for this level. I'll start playing it sooner, but I'll play it with some good distance and wait for those big red days. Moving on to Meta right now. So Meta, one of the stocks from our introduction, right? Daily uptrend. Unwind. So we lost lows right here. 760 was the lows. We've flushed those lows right now. And as a result, we are into weekly consolidation. I've been telling you guys, pay attention to the weekly time frame on Meta. It makes much more sense than these earnings highs. If you do come back down, we're heading first stop is going to be right here, 740. And the weekly 12 EMA, which is 723. And over and above that, if we pull back more, well, you guys obviously know this green box is where the bigger level of support currently stands. 700s, low 700s. That will be another 7-8% pullback on Meta. I know you guys say it can't possibly happen. Yes, it can. Sure, it happens all the time, right? Meta sometimes comes down close to the 12 EMA without too much, without touching it too often. At least it has been in the last, roughly 3 years of trade at this point in time. But even prior, Meta has a ton of price action in its history, right? 12 EMA is not such an awkward touch. So if we come back all the way down there, low 700s, you guys know what I'll be doing. 700, 650. I'm a buyer of Meta. I've been saying that even since prior to this earnings, right? So if we pull back down and go for a monthly higher low and then maybe expand into Q4 and 2026 and 2027, it won't be too bad, but I'll be playing the larger swings on Meta. Moving on to Microsoft right now. Microsoft, right? We were commenting on this before. 3 months where you never lost the 12 EMA. 3 months where you never lost the daily uptrend. Now, what's happened? Both things at the same time. And I said that when this was going to happen, watch out because it can unwind quite quickly. That being said, we're into weekly consolidation right now. You can see the MACD curling over, the RSI curling over as well. And the next logical area, at least for a first touch for the bulls, would be about 499, 500 psychological, the weekly 12 EMA. Is there any support there though? None whatsoever. The bulls never bothered to set any, big support levels on the way up. It was just straight up and straight up and straight up. People couldn't get enough of it. And now we might just be going into some consolidation. If you want to know where the bigger area of consolidation is, well, just look no further than the monthly time frame, right? Monthly move. We're going to see it on Netflix on the next chart right here. Where can we come back to? Well, close to the prior all-time highs into the mid to high 400s. If I can see these levels on Microsoft, a lot of you guys have been asking me, well, you've been saying you're not buying Microsoft. You're not buying Microsoft here, here, here. Where are you buying Microsoft? Well, I'm looking, if you want to see me have a bigger position, I'm not talking about some small, tiny little swing trades. I'm talking about a big position that I can build out and then ride for months and months and months. similar to every time Microsoft was coming down here, I was playing it with the wheel type of thing, right? If Microsoft comes down here a little bit more into the high 460s, 470s, maybe even 480s, in that whole region, right? This whole 5% range in around this 12 EMA, I will start to play Microsoft once again, but what I will not do is tell you guys straight up, yeah, this is the bottom, this is the bottom, this is the bottom. No, we're not going to do that. The daily bears, are in full control, and weekly consolidation is underway until the time that stops, whereby the bulls recaptured the daily uptrend. Well, you know that the move down is not done just yet. So don't try to predict, guys. Just react to the price action and just keep in mind the levels that you would actually want to play it. It doesn't mean that you have to play them sooner, right? I'm just here to say that I don't care if Microsoft just stops here and goes up, but I will buy it, right? I don't know if it's going down there. You guys don't know either, right? Nobody knows. Nobody on YouTube knows, right? Even nobody on Wall Street probably knows, right? Nobody knows. I'm just here to say, if I see it down here, I will play it similar to other names that when they do come down to their monthly 12s, I play them. The last time that we loaded up big in all the accounts, especially for some bigger swing trades, was in the month of February, March, and April. And a lot of my trades back then were clipping into monthly moving averages. If Microsoft doesn't do it, no problem at all. Maybe some other names on this list will, and I will just play those instead. That's how you have to view the markets, guys. Let the markets come to you. Don't try to predict. Just if they come down to your level, that is when you strike, right? Moving on to Netflix right now. Netflix down about 2.48% today. Short-term price action is still very choppy. We had a nice daily uptrend. They flushed some of these lows, but support is still put at about 1210 down to about 1182. So we're still holding a little bit. That being said, if we unwind daily downtrend, well, you guys know that this is the weekly highs right then. And then maybe we might just be embarking on another leg of weekly downside. If that does happen, the weekly lows is here, 1147. If you lose this daily uptrend right now, well, what was the size of the bounce on the fibs? Right, the size of the bounce on the fibs was about 50%. Gives the bulls 50% chance of conversion to the upside. Gives the bears 50% chance of the conversion of their own to the downside. Rather than try to predict, just look at the longer term timeframes. If we want to line this one up with possible further downside consolidation, I've been telling you guys, where would I be interested to pick up some Netflix, either for some swing shares, swing trades with shares, or swing trades with options and things of that nature, or long-term portfolio shares. I've been very clear, and I've been saying $1,100 to $1,000 without referencing the monthly time frame so much. That being said, has Netflix done this many times in the past? Well, as a matter of fact, yes, it has. If it does it again, don't be surprised, but just keep in mind, if you do want to buy down there, when it does come down there, no matter what the market narrative at that time is, you better be sure to click that buy button, at least with something, right? Moving on to NVIDIA right now. NVIDIA down 3.5%, big flush right here, and almost undoing the dailies, right? So 171 is your daily higher low. It has been a very nice daily uptrend so far. We were looking for some higher lows to be set. No, it seems as though they want to go lower. So this is a nice move by the bears to the downside. What has NVIDIA done today that I've been telling you guys to pay attention to? Take a sip of coffee. I'll let you guys think about it. I'm not trying to be sarcastic, and I'm not trying to sound like, pompous or anything like that. I'm just trying to teach you guys why it's not a good proposition to chase things, perpetually chase things at the highs, right? Because when the pullbacks come, they come hard. They come sometimes without just justified reasons. And then people don't know where the end of it's going to be. They just say, oh, well, the rally's completely over. I'm done. I'm cooked today. And those are the types of comments that you read, right? However, what have we done today? We've lost a 12 EMA. Something that has not happened in 3-4 months. They have earnings next week. We'll be able to get it back after earnings. NVIDIA is going to save the whole market? Maybe. But if that doesn't happen, we move a bit lower, well, you guys should be knowing what you're expecting right now. You were expecting some weekly consolidation, very healthy weekly consolidation for a stock that's moved up literally 100% in the last quarter, right? So keep that in mind. So the weekly might just be looking for a bit of consolidation. Good thing the bulls have a ton of space. Anything above 142, looking for a new weekly higher low. And on the monthly timeframes, we'll look at the monthly timeframes as well, right? In the event we pull back, you guys know exactly probably where we're going, into the whole 150 down to 140 region. I'm not saying it's going to 100% go down here. I'm just saying I'm not buying it here. I'll wait for other opportunities that give me good pullbacks. I find opportunities every week. I show you guys opportunities every week as well. There's always something in the market. You don't have to focus and concentrate only on the same names that everybody keeps pushing and pushing and pushing, and you buy here for your incremental 3%, 4% returns, and then you get caught in a 10% unwind. That's not what you want to do, guys, right? Let things come to you. There are times and places to play NVIDIA. Matter of fact, they come around quite often, and when they do come around, you hit them big, and you hit them with size, and then you ride. right? So in the event it does happen, I will be playing NVIDIA down here. If it doesn't happen and we just move further, congratulations to all the bulls out there, right? I will just play another key name. I'm waiting patiently for NVIDIA's move. Moving on to Tesla right now. Tesla down about 1.75. Very choppy action on Tesla recently. Not too much to derive from here, but we are looking for some form of a daily higher low. We got rejected from resistance 360 to 340. We will see if the bulls have it in them to make a second push attempt here out of the breakout zone, right? This was a very nice tightening wedge. We broke it to the upside. Now the bulls are looking to convert. However, what do you guys think is going to happen, right? If tech continues on a pullback phase, is Tesla just going to magically pull a rabbit out of its hat and just push? Probably not. It'll probably be beholden to the same price action as the rest of the market. So do not be surprised if in the next few weeks, if the market keeps unwinding growth, if Tesla finds itself back in the 300 location. That would be a location that I would be willing to possibly explore, right? Taking some form of a swing trade position. But until that time, I'm not so much interested, not with the degree of pullback we've been having with everything else. Palantir down 9.35 at another 2.55% in the after hours. Just goes to show you how retail behaves, right? When the move started this morning, Palantir was down about 4 or 5%. As the day moves on, I was kind of browsing, financial Twitter, browsing Reddit, browsing these different locations, browsing comment section on videos, especially Palantir videos. And now people are starting to say, thanks for the rally. It's over. It's been fun with Palantir. XYZ, right? Now, they're down 9.35% at the end of the day, and they're down 2.61% in the after hours, which means that people got home and then also thought that way. Oh no, it's over. I just need to sell my Palantir shares now, even though they were so convinced buying this one after earnings. When I was telling people, guys, the risk reward profile is not the best up here, right? It hasn't been a good risk reward profile since like 120. It just hasn't been, right? Why? Because at 120, there was a defined stop loss area. If we were playing this breakout and retest location and we wanted to enter upon these retest locations or upon this weakness, right? There's a very clearly defined stop loss area. If I buy up here, where the heck is my stop loss? Well, the answer is nowhere, right? So there you go. So now Palantir, unfortunately, unwinding everything, unwinding the entire earnings move, but who's in control? Well, the daily bulls are losing control quite rapidly right now, as a matter of fact. If we take a look right here, this is something that hasn't happened in a while, where you've had a very large engulfing move. So, are the bulls going to be able to just magically V-shape this as if nothing happened? The likelihood is probably not, and this is just a game of probabilities. That's why we use the fibs, right? 78% retracement does favor the bears, either for the one-time flush or the two-time daily downtrend procedure right there, which would lead you into more weekly consolidation. The weekly higher lows are all the way down there at 128, looking for a higher low. The 12 EMA is there. The bulls have been using the 12 EMA a lot. And look at the monthly, right? Same thing for the weekly. Like, we have tagged this weekly EMA on the 12 so many times throughout this historical Palantir rally, right? So many times. So what makes you believe that this time was any different when we were all the way up there? That we're just going to magically just decouple from everything, decouple from the fundamentals, decouple from the technicals, just decouple from everything, because Palantir is the next, who knows? It's going to be the entire stock market, right? It's just going to go up and up and up and up. Maybe you guys just watch too many Tom Nash videos. Shout out to Tom, man. He was covering this one all the way back there. So you got to love it, man. But, sometimes you got to take the long-term price targets and decouple them from short-term price action, right? And he'll be the first one to tell you that as well, right? Very volatile day. Take a look at the monthly 12, guys. Really, really, really extended. Now, if you ask me, where will I be playing Palantir for some swing trades? Yes, because I do play Palantir. The last time we played Palantir on the channel was back around the April lows when it came back there and played the 12. Since then, I've had some shares. I've always been a long-term Palantir shareholder, but I haven't really played this one very often. And every time people bring it up, I say, if you do it, be very cautious and be aggressive on taking profits, right? And if you see the continuation of the unwind here, and we miraculously pull back over the next month, or maybe the next 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks type of thing during fall seasonality, and you pull back here, while the 12 EMA is casually curling up into the 120, 130 level, and we can cool down this monthly RSI, which has just been blasted for a better part of the last 9 months, well, maybe, just maybe, you might see Will Trades take a position on Palantir as well. But I will wait for it. If it doesn't happen, well then, there, I guess I'll just have to play some other stocks in the market. I still have some Palantir long-term shares. I'm not worried about the long term, but I'm talking short-term trades with shorter-term price action for, 3-4 month swing trades. When you buy these dips into moving averages, you identify prior locations of support, which line up in confluence with a moving average, and then you can take possibly some swing trades with some call debit spread, some call options, 3, 4, 5, 6 month call options and things of that nature. When it's destroyed, when the daily downtrends are so ferocious, when it's daily oversold condition, when it's weekly almost, pulling back here, weekly very soft conditions as well. And when everybody's saying it's over, that's kind of when you want to position. Moving on to SOFI right now. SOFI down 6.11%, breaking above the resistance and now pulling back hard into it. Now, sadly on SOFI, we're losing the daily higher lows. They're right here. 22.7 is the higher lows on SOFI. If you flush them, sadly, you've lost your short-term daily uptrend. You will once again being rejected at resistance 24.50 down to 22.50. This resistance, man, they're playing the Bears. Got to give it to the Bears, man. They're playing some pretty good defense. Every time it seems that there's something that happens that pulls SOFI out of it, right? We will see if we get some follow through into tomorrow. If we lose the daily uptrend here and you get the flush, you open up the door for either the continuation flush and the maybe two-step process whereby you would use this resistance level as a back test and then flush a little bit more. You would just be going into weekly consolidation as well. The weekly higher lows are set right down there at about the $20 range, just looking for a higher low on the weekly. Maybe the bulls can save. And if they don't, if we just last into weekly consolidation for a while, because the weekly time frame is overbought right now from the RSI, as you can clearly see, and you pull back on the monthly. I mean, SOFI, guys, is up. Like, how come? I mean, a lot of you guys, in all fairness, a lot of you guys were asking me, can I buy SOFI here? And I was saying, yeah. Go for it. Like, we have to go for this one. This is where I was buying SOFI last time, right? Now, a lot of people ask me, can I buy SOFI up here? And I say, if you buy SOFI up here, you better have a 3 to 5 year time horizon, and you better be willing to DCA on any pullbacks. If SOFI pulls back, well, where are we possibly heading? Well, we might just normalize back down here under 20, 19, 18, give some chances to this monthly 12 to catch up, right? Just maybe. So I will be doing that exact same thing. Yes, on a week-to-week basis, I could play the volatility. I can sell some short puts way below the market. If I'm assigned, I'll do the same thing week in, week out and build a SOFI position as we move through the 20 structural level down to 19, down to 18 until we line up with these timeframes. And then if we do somehow pull back there, that is when the calls come into play. But what I will not do is buy call options here after this level of a rally, especially not short-term ones. You're just kind of asking for it sometimes because you're never too sure when these pullbacks do come. But when they come hard and they come fast. We've gone to Uber right now. Uber up 1.5% today, surprisingly. Very choppy short-term price action on Uber, but it is a categorical daily uptrend. Anything above 89.96, let's call it $90 flat, right? Looking for a new daily higher low, possibly for some further trend continuation. The weekly timeframes as well. Uber is looking for the weekly uptrend continuation. The bulls pulled back. The bulls gave back a lot of ground right here into the weekly 12 EMA, and now we're trying to push the highs. We will see if they can get it done or not, but Uber is not looking too bad. Obviously, if you get a back test, you're looking for the back test of this location. 93 down to about $90 overall on Uber. Uber not looking too bad whatsoever, but even Uber, like last times I was buying Uber was not in this location right here, but you guys remember, if you've been on the channel for a while, we played so much Uber around this 12 EMA on the monthly and big support. We played so much Uber down here as well. The last time that we were playing Uber kind of type of thing was when we pulled back into this 80 location. These guys right there is the last time you might remember me on the channel playing Uber, because at that time we were pulling back into possibly the support level, which leads to the 12 EMA. That's why I was playing so much Uber down here, and I was patient for it. Now a little bit extended, so I'm happy as a long-term Uber shareholder, but I'm not really playing any short-term directional bets to the upside, and I'm also not really selling any short puts super close to the market, being a bit careful on which companies I choose to do that on. But Uber's doing really well. TSMC, after spending a month not being able to crack above new all-time highs, I was telling you guys, pay attention. We already lost a 12 EMA once. This was after the, I believe this was starting off with the non-farm payrolls event, and then it was probably like the CPI or something like that. Anyways, it's been a while since that crack, but we did break below it. This is the second time with a very big, meaningful break below the 12 EMA on the daily. So keep that in mind when looking at TSM. This is now also a new daily downtrend. As a result, if we lose the 12 EMA and go into a daily downtrend, which is exactly what we did down here, the bears have a chance to follow through. Now, they did not get it right there, because TSM was kind of alone. But now where everybody is doing it, maybe TSM does it too. If we do that, I'll remind you, we've been talking about this time frame for a while on the channel, the past 4 or 5 weeks. It was sideways consolidation with a bit of a bearish lean. Well, that bearish lean might continue a little bit. The next logical area of support would probably be down here, 220. NVIDIA earnings are next week, I will remind you. And in the event we go into extended weekly consolidation, keep in mind, you crack 228 right there. That's a weekly downtrend, right? Weekly downtrend is just synonymous with a monthly pullback. And I've been telling you guys, right? TSM, where I really want it, I don't mind starting to nibble around the 220 location. I really don't mind, right? But I was telling you guys, if you buy it up here, the valuation is good, but you got to have a very long-term time horizon. I'm keeping all my TSM shares for the next like 5-10 years. So I don't care where it goes. I'll DCA every single month into this trade. Some months I'll get higher, some months I'll get lower, but with every paycheck on a monthly basis, I'm buying a little bit of TSMC. Why? Because the valuation supports buys even up here. However, for swing trades, you guys haven't seen me swing trade TSM in a long time, right? With good reason. Why? Because it's very extended. So that being said, if we do pull back here under 220, talking about the teens, with the 12 EMA coming up and this big support location, well, that is the next time that you will see me play TSMC on the channel, maybe with some heavier bets, call debit spreads, leap call contracts, things of that nature that I have not done truly since the April lows, the last time that this happened, as a matter of fact. And with that, that wraps up all of the market rundown for you guys. Hopefully today's video made a lot of sense for you guys as well. And hopefully I didn't sound like I wasn't trying to be too sarcastic or things like that, right? But if I just tell you guys like, oh, don't worry, like everything's fine and whatnot, and just set an expectation of like, you know, I'm a long-term perma bull, which I am, right? But just tell everybody, what I don't want to do, guys, is tell anybody the extremes. I don't want to say the sky is falling, it's a market crash, get ready, the market's over, we're going to a recession. That I don't want to do because you guys get bombarded with too much of that garbage. But what I also don't want to say is, yes, after this one day of pullback, you guys need to be buying right now because you're never going to find a discount like today ever again. And the near-term future is looking incredibly bright. The short answer is we don't know, right? Predicting short-term price action and how it moves in line with news catalysts, how it moves in line with earnings catalysts, and everything under the sun, seasonality as well. We do the best that we can to extrapolate likely probabilities, but at the end of the day, right, you don't know. But what you do know is when you go back on these charts, you can find areas where buyers have responded in the past. So look for confluence, look for, you know, stuff that moves from daily overbought conditions down into daily oversold conditions. If you can line up with daily oversold conditions and a monthly huge level of support and a monthly 12 EMA, which historically has been a good location to buy some of these names, well, then you know that the probabilities of you finding a successful location for a trade increase. And as I said, we're not trying to predict that everything is going to fall all the way down there. We are just getting ready so that if it does, we have a beautiful shopping list of a whole bunch of companies when they come down there, the common consensus is that nobody's going to want them again, right? Everybody's going to be saying, it's over, that's it, I'm pivoting, I'm getting out of the market. But no, not my viewers. My viewers are going to be patient. They're going to wait for very high quality companies into historical levels of pullbacks, and then you guys are going to strike. So, right, best of luck out there. But the best thing you can do as a trader and an investor, guys, is be stoic, disciplined, no emotions, right? Don't get caught up in the narrative. Don't think in terms of extremes. Don't jump to conclusions thinking either it's over or we're going to the moon. It's always in between. Look at every single day objectively, no emotions, be very disciplined, and just always wait for the market to come to you. Now, with that being said, guys, let's jump into a few of these names because if I don't do them today, you guys are not going to be very happy. So let's jump into a few of these names and I'll give you my impressions as well. Now, before I go through these names, guys, I'll give you guys some possible price levels of interest. But what I don't want you guys to think is that I'm calling for everything to pull back into their monthly 12 EMAs. It's nice if it happens. But what I am saying here is that what I don't want to do is buy them up here. I will be very patient once again. So in the event I give some levels that you guys just scoff and say, there's no way it's going down there. Maybe it won't. Maybe the bulls will be able to recapture some of these levels very shortly. But if they don't, and if they do come down here and you enjoy these companies, maybe those are locations where you tend to buy. You guys know that I'm quite conservative in terms of the levels that I do pick out for these stocks. And sometimes some of you guys don't like that because you want the confirmation bias. You want me to tell you, no, you could buy probably right here and Rocket Lab is going to 2x in the next 7 days. But we are very realistic and very logical on this channel. And I think that's why you guys watch me, or at least I think that's why, right? Because you appreciate the honesty, right? So let's go through a few of these names. We already went through Palantir. We're going to go through Rocket Lab right now. Daily, it's all price action here, guys. Who controls the daily? It's daily bears. Daily bears with the flush right now. No clean support areas in sight. That being said, zoom out until you find a clear level. Do we have a clear level on the weekly? No. Lack of clear support was established. Some people can call this on a monthly time frame. You can call this a fair value gap. You can call it whatever you want to, right? But there's just no clean areas of price action that were established. Keep in mind, these companies are running very hot. Rocket Lab is a $20 billion company and barely brings in $1 billion worth of revenue. The valuation is quite stretched right now. As a result, if the markets do embark into consolidation, and I can find Rocket Lab just as people found it back in April, down here into daily oversold conditions, and we can line up those daily oversold conditions with some possible entry opportunities, selling some puts, right? If we come down hard and we go into daily oversold conditions, and we're all the way down here, mid-30s, and the next big support area that we're looking for is down here, low 30s, what do you think I'm going to do? That's when I'm going to start selling some put options down here. I don't know if it's going to go down there. That's why I love selling put options. Because if it does get down there, I'm going to get some shares. If it doesn't get down there, I'm just going to get the premium. Figma, I've been talking about this one for a while, right? Figma is a company that brings in only $1 billion of revenue per year. This one is trading at a $33 billion market cap. That is 33 times price to sales. Now, I know that you guys don't mind buying some things when they're elevated, such as Palantir, such as a whole host of other names, but where would you buy them if they came into fair value? Well, that's a very good question. What did Adobe try to pay for this company a few years ago? $25 billion? We're almost back there now. 33 billion is what Figma is currently trading at. So I have a line here on this chart. If Figma can come back down into the mid 50s, maybe that's where I start getting interested. Even though we don't have any price action, I'm just going off of what somebody else wanted to pay for this company. And I assume Adobe did their research in terms of the growth rates or whatnot. If they were willing to pay 25 billion for it a few years ago, and I can find it in around that range today, $25 billion, well, maybe I will also want to take that bet. On to Symbotic right now. Symbotic, a fan favorite name. It's around an absolute ton. This is what, 3x in literally a quarter? Now we got the unwind. We got the daily, right? We tried to hold the support range. Now we're breaking down. So sadly, daily downtrend, we're breaking through the support range right there, which is the low of 47. And if you pull back, you are also going to unwind this weekly time frame. And the time frame that makes the most amount of sense, because it's very choppy here after earnings and everything. The time frame that makes the most amount of sense, guys, is the monthly. Look at this monthly chart right here. These monthly candles close in 10 days. 10 days. Do you think in 10 days the bulls are going to be able to make it all the way back up there? Maybe, but probably not, right? And if they do pull back, where's the next area of confluence? Well, maybe somewhere that they've done this type of move several times historically. Maybe, just maybe, we pull back here. Maybe we can find some 12 EMA confluence into that region, which is 42 to 38. Same concept as Rocket Lab. If we pull back really hard and go into daily oversold conditions, which we have not seen in like 3-4 months at this point in time, more than that, actually 5 months right now. If you find daily oversold conditions and longer time frame confluence, maybe that is where you can start bidding on this company if you do like it. Talking about A-Lab right now. Look at A-Lab. Really, really, really monster move off the lows. That's a 3x as well, right? So keeping that in mind, we have not set any support in this entire move right there. This is all hype. This is all momentum. We are now winding it down a little bit. Now the short-term control is still in the bulls' favor. Surprisingly, the higher lows are down there at 123. But look at this gap. Massive earnings gap. There is no price action that was clearly established this entire run. This is just buying and buying and buying with no end in sight. But if we do come back down there, maybe 140 for a back test right here, around the weekly EMAs, that'll be fine because we don't have enough price action for the monthly EMAs just yet. But this seems to be a very logical area, which if we do pull back here into September, maybe, just maybe, we can look for some possible entries on A-Lab. Talking about Duolingo, this one I really like. So this one is not an EMA trade or nothing. This one is just one that's come down a lot, right? But it's a common theme here to where this is something that's happened on Duolingo as well, right? Nice rallies, 12 EMA, nice rallies, 12 EMA, nice rallies. And then we got more of a correction right here. Beautiful rally. Where's the next touch during the tariffs? 12 EMAs. Insane rally. Everybody wanted to buy it here, and then nobody wants to buy it here. Why not? I don't know. It's a touch of the 12 EMA. The valuation is more manageable right now, so I will be accumulating some Duolingo shares. Not necessarily short-term call options because the market is probably going to be choppy for a lot of the tech names out there, but I will be accumulating some shares in this location. We covered their earnings a few short weeks ago. Definitely check it out on the channel if you have not. So I'll be accumulating some shares here, there, and maybe even into the lower range of support, lower 300s, high 200s, to possibly hold into the next 2-3 years for the appreciation of the business. not just for short-term technicals, but for the appreciation of the business overall. MSTR. Now, this is an interesting one. This is a meme that I had from my Discord chat. You guys know who this is? This is Michael Saylor, way back in the day. Here's good old Michael Saylor, right? Michael Saylor. Monthly time frame. Unlike Bitcoin, right? Pull back into the 12 EMA. So where are we coming into right now? 340 down to about 312, 310 is the next area of support. Below that, obviously, is the deeper one. But take a look right here. We got some confluence underway. There's going to be the touch of the 12 EMA soon. Daily almost oversold conditions. So today, I actually bought some shares. I keep all my crazy growth names in a tax-free account. You guys call it an IRA or Roth IRA in the US. In Canada, it's called a tax-free savings account. So whenever I see companies that I believe could have some very rapid price expansion over the next 2-3 years, that's where I put them. Today, I bought just $1,000 of MSTR. I actually bought them at $343 if you want to know my exact price. And I will be DCAing for a few key reasons right here. Number one, the MNAV on MSTR is like a 1.55 right now. So if Bitcoin pulls back, and this one gets a little bit more undervalued in terms of the historical MNAV for the company. Usually this one trades at about a 2 in terms of the historical MNAV. If I take it, MicroStrategy, MNAV history right here, I'll show you guys a chart, right? You guys can probably find these charts all over the place, but here's a chart from the historical MNAV in terms of MSTR. When it comes down here, oh, this is so blurry, guys. I'm sorry. It's super blurry. You can't even see it anymore. Anyways, it used to pull up nicely when I was looking at the chat earlier. Maybe I loaded it too quickly. But anyways, this disgustingly blurry purple line right down here, or rather this one that we're at right now, that's the 1.6 location. The other one higher is 2. Whenever we pull down into 1.6 or lower, it's been a good buying opportunity for MSTR. At least it has been in recent history. Sorry, I really should get you a cleaner chart, but just so you guys know, right? So I'm a buyer of MSTR here, but shares, which I'll be looking to hold maybe for the next 2-3 years as a leverage bet on Bitcoin. So I'm playing this one. NBIS, another favorite one from the fans real quick. So beautiful weekly uptrend is on NBIS right now. They had fantastic earnings, rejection from resistance, and now might be curling over. Where can we head into? 60 down to about 55. Monthly 12 EMA check. It's a bit lower than that, right? So fantastic move by NBIS, but this is not the first time that they've pulled back to the 12. They've done it even before anybody was looking at this one. This is 2021, 2022, right? Now they resumed trading 2 years later, of course, doing something a bit different, but that's a different story. But that being said, if we do pull back, it would not be that crazy. I'll be looking to play this one maybe back into the mid 50s to lower 50s. Tempest AI, same concept. Tempest AI had a beautiful rally recently, right? Really trying for the weekly push right now. Got some support below, talking about 71 down to 66. I'd be a bigger fan, guys, just playing these back tests down here. If we really flush and the volatility comes in, you'll be finding me selling some puts down here. Same thing. I told you guys I would do this in this move right here into July. People said, no, it's not going to pull back there. It did pull back there. So if we do pull back a little bit more, I'll be selling some put options down there, on Tempest AI. A few more, shall we? ASTS, the other part of Team Rocket, right? ASTS, monthly 12 EMA check. All the way down there, right? So daily, just been stuck in a perpetual daily downtrend. As ASTS, do they have any revenues? No. So all of this is hype and pure multiple expansion. At least it has been for a while now. So daily downtrend is clear as day. Bears are in short-term control. The weekly downtrend is not there yet. You would have to flush this guy right there. $43 for the weekly to be unwound. If you do unwind that, you really set up for the weekly downtrend, and you set up as well for a very healthy monthly consolidation. When ASTS was all the way up here and people were asking me, Will, can I buy it here? And I was saying, well, yes, you can, but you have to be very careful. You have to have a long-term time horizon, and I hope you have money to DCA. DCA into where, you might ask? Well, maybe the 12 EMA? Not too sure, right? But that being said, if we do pull back there, same concept. If we pull back a little bit more, daily, is the daily oversold just yet? Let's have a look. Daily is not oversold just yet. So although we can speculate and say, well, they're going to stop the market there, going to stop the market there, they're going to stop the market there. Wait for daily oversold conditions. If you pull back into daily oversold conditions and you have another quick and rapid drop into the high 30s, just maybe you'll be able to find some very nice short put options that you can sell down here if you wanted to acquire some ASTS shares into a nice support location into a 12 EMA and benefit from a bit of that volatility. SMR, same concept. Same concept. Daily downtrend is clear as day. They flushed one support. They flushed number 2 support. Is it going to stop here? I don't know. Is it going to stop there? I don't know. Are they going to stop it here? Also, guys, what is the answer? You don't know, but what you can go is with historical precedent, right? So daily almost oversold. So now it hits our radar. Now we're interested. Daily oversold conditions off of a big pullback. Do we have support? Yes, we do. Prior resistance should be current support as well as daily oversold conditions. On the monthly time frame, we'll look at that. Mr. 12 EMA is sitting right there. The same location where we blasted off here, we pulled back, we blasted off here, we came back, and now we blasted off again. And now look at this. We're coming right back. So when everybody was asking me, can I buy SMR up here? I was saying, you can with your money, but I'm not. People were saying, well, screw this guy. He's going to get left behind, right? Well, now that we're back down here, you might find me selling some put options down there on this pretty good company that unfortunately doesn't have much revenues right now. Robinhood. Robinhood. What are we going to do with Robinhood? No new highs and possibly breach of the lows. If this continues into tomorrow, you are looking at a daily downtrend. It should be notable to you because we have not lost this daily 12 EMA in a very long time. This one has rallied ridiculously, almost up 4x from the April bottoms, guys. If 4x is not enough in a quarter, I don't know what is at this point. But still, people ask me on the channel, can I buy it up here? And I say, well, maybe if you have a 3 to 5 year time horizon, you're willing to DCA down because you're definitely not getting the best risk reward now. That being said, if we unwind this, the weekly higher lows are at 94.36. Huge expansion move right there. Did they set any support on the way up? The answer is no. So when you don't set much support on the way up, guys, sometimes the drop can be volatile and can be fast. Where's the 12 EMA? And now this is going to break people's hearts. It's at 65. Am I calling for a halving of Robinhood stock? No, I'm just saying that I'm not really interested in buying it up here. There's other names that are pulling back to their 12 EMAs already, which we showed previously into some of these names that we had before. So there's many other opportunities. Now, if we're buying Robinhood here with a 3 to 5 to 7 to 10 year time horizon, and I know you guys say that, but you do truly believe it. You say that you're buying it there, but you really do want the gains right away. Don't lie to yourself, right? You really do want the gains right away, even though you're saying you're holding it for 5, 10 years. I know, trust me, I know the psychology. Trust me, guys, I've taught thousands of people so far, both privately and now publicly on the channel and with our Discord members as well. And the common themes of psychology come back. You guys don't believe that I used to do this too? Of course, everybody does this at a certain point, right? But eventually you become stoic. Eventually you learn from these things and none of these moves surprise you and you don't feel any FOMO anymore. And you definitely don't try to find confirmation bias from other YouTube channels that are telling you, yeah, guys, don't worry. It's just a dip right now. It's fine. Just keep buying. Just keep buying, keep buying, keep buying. You're getting great, fantastic risk reward up here, especially at a 25 price to sales. Of course, what better risk reward trade-off is there than buying something at a 6 peg and a 25 price to sales? Because valuation doesn't matter until it does, right? That being said, if we do pull back, I'll be looking for a few key things. I'm not saying the market's going to stop here where we have support. We do have a bit of support back there, but not the largest amount. And those are also the weekly lows. We have the weekly 12 EMA. Who knows? Maybe the bulls can stop it right there. But if they don't, well, you need to line up a few different things. Daily, we're not even close to daily oversold. So wait for it. Wait for it. If this is going to be the consolidation period that people are looking for, right? And we do pull back on the daily and daily gets oversold and the monthly starts dropping a little bit rapidly down into the 80s and the EMAs start curling up because this is monthly. The candle closes. This EMA is going to shoot up a little bit, right? Doesn't mean it's going to come down there. The EMA is going to be curling up. The price is going to be moving down. And then maybe you can find an area of confluence with a daily oversold area when people are going to be saying it's over. Damn, I probably shouldn't have bought Robinhood in the 110s. But who knows? Maybe tomorrow all of this just goes away and we just continue moving on higher. And that's completely fine. But what I will not do is buy something here when it is just so extended, both valuation-wise and price action-wise. Even though I love Robinhood. It's a fantastic company. I wish we had Robinhood in Canada. I'd probably open a brokerage account. But there's also something that I'd be maximum willing to pay in terms of a stock price. Probably, a lot of people are sitting on tremendous gains. 3, 2, 3, 4x. You will not see a 2, 3, 4x as rapidly as you saw here. It's not going to happen from here, guys. It's just not going to happen. Is Robinhood going to go from $100 to $400 in 3 months? No, but it did go from 30 to 120 in 3-4 months. That move is done. So now you need to look forward to the next move overall. And so many other names of that same nature. HIMS we already covered, right? The next stop is probably going to be around 40, 12 EMA, which is also coincidentally the 200-day EMA. We are almost short-term oversold, but we're coming down into there. We're not saying it's going to stop the market dead in its tracks at 40. What we are saying, though, is that if it comes into here, daily oversold conditions, we might be willing to sell some put options at the actual level of support below, which is roughly 36. So if it comes down a little bit harder, right? 36, 35, I wouldn't mind trading HIMs there. Matter of fact, it's been a good proposition to do it. Come down hard into this 12. This is the monthly candle. Maybe September brings us down into it. In that case, maybe I'll be interested in buying some HIMS shares. I was patient. I was telling you guys, I even sold some HIMS shares up there. And I was saying if it comes back down and picks me up again, perfect. If it doesn't, no problem at all. Congratulations to all other shareholders, right? But that being said, if you're patient, you'll always find something that comes right back down into your hands, right? So keep that in mind. There's so many names on this red list. We cannot possibly go through them all. Oracle is the exact same concept. Where do we set any price action on the way up? Nowhere. Just very short term, small levels of support. Daily downtrend started right now on Oracle. No daily oversold conditions, not even close. Weekly unwind factors right there as well. Higher lows are at 202. Pull back even more. Well, we're just going to be looking for the monthly unwind here of this chart. Has Oracle done it in the past? It's done it many times over the past few years, guys. Many times. I mean, Oracle hasn't had this much of a bull run, but even look at this one right here, 2021 into the bear market right there. Prior, Oracle used to have some more normal price action. Now it's like turbo AI price action. So that being said, if I'm looking for turbo AI price action, I'll be looking for a turbo drop on Oracle and possibly trying to play it into the backtest location of prior all-time highs and this area of a 12 EMA, which should be better price action overall. And that would still be a big drop on Oracle. Now, I'm not saying it's going to go down there. You guys know that by now. But what I am saying is that I'll be patiently waiting for any one of these names that chooses to give me the setup that I'm looking for. And those are the names that I will be playing. The reason being, those will be the names that when they do that, provide me with the best risk to reward opportunity, rather than saying, well, this is going to be the short-term bottom on Oracle. This is short-term bottom. This is short-term bottom. These guys are short-term bottom. It's going to stop there. Not in the business of doing that, guys. I'm in the business of waiting for my style of trade setup and taking that one. Whatever you guys want to do is completely up to you as well. So today, if anything, I'm not trying to, once again, to wrap up today's video, I'm not trying to predict where the markets are going. I'm just showing you the type of setup that I want. If it comes to me, perfect, I'll take it. If it does not come to me, no problem at all. I'll take these setups that actually do come to me. Not all of the setups are going to pull back into the monthly 12 EMAs. Some of them may just stop here and reverse upside to the upside, and that's perfectly fine. But for every company that I've been patiently waiting for that could make its way into my desired areas, I will be playing those companies because I think that that's where the most favorable risk reward comes, at least when you look at some of these charts in terms of their historical standards. So that being said, that's everything I had for you guys today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. It's trying to be more of an education session, right? More so than anything, more so than trying to predict short-term price action, give you guys confirmation bias if you're in some of these trades, or I don't want to be too bearish with people either, right? I just want to outlay the things that I look at on charts and why single day movements like these and even multiple days or multiple weeks worth of price action doesn't affect me. Because when you zoom out and you go for the longest time frames and you look in terms of historical standards, you can find some patterns that don't repeat exactly, but they often do rhyme, of course, as well. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, consider dropping a like on the video. I'd really appreciate it for the growth of the channel. Consider subscribing to the channel if you're new as well. I would love to have you back here. And last but not least, if you have any comments or questions or anything whatsoever, or if you want to call me out and say that I have no idea what I'm talking about, I'd love to hear from you down below in the comment section, guys. So feel free to leave me a comment down below. Always love reading your guys' comments. And last but not least, yes, I have to do it. In the event that you guys wanted to participate in a trading and investing community where we look for all these things on a longer duration basis and where we trade the markets in several different ways using several different strategies, you might consider joining our trading and investing community with over 200 other members. We're in there every single day trying to find the best possible opportunities, but more important than that, being very patient in the market, guys. That's what I really try to drive home to my community. And so far, the guys in there, they've been crushing it with the patience over the course of this year, always finding very good opportunities and then making some very big wins as well. So in the Discord, you get access to all of my trades, whether they're the wheel trades on a weekly basis, directional trades when I do them, call options, call debit spreads, leap call options, swing trades with shares. You get access to all of my trades. Here are all the trades in the past few months. The green little check marks are wins. The red little circles are small little losses. So that being said, those are all of the trades in the past few months, essentially since the month of May. I can go further back. But anyways, you get access to all those trades. You get access to all our morning live streams as well, where I trade the markets live and answer all your questions on your stocks, your options, and your long-term portfolios. in the morning live streams every morning, Monday through Friday, for about 2.5, 3 hours. You can also ask me all your questions in our chat rooms all throughout the day, and I'm very happy to answer you. And last but not least, you get access to our private education section, where I teach a lot of this stuff that I talked about in today's video. Technical analysis, fundamental analysis, patience, different trading strategies depending on the size of your account, a whole bunch of different option strategies as well. There's so much in that educational section that I don't talk so much about on YouTube, but it is in there. And lastly, you get access to all my charts. So whenever you're seeing support resistance areas on all these companies, whenever you see fundamental analysis as well, all these things that I give to you guys every earnings season, you get to copy paste all of that just as an added bonus. All my watch lists, all my charts can become yours. It takes 10 seconds to copy over. And that's it for today's video, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. Hopefully you have a good rest of the week in the markets, and I'll see you tomorrow after the close. Take care and peace.